So I'm sitting up here thinking, and the parable of the sowers came to me. Um, and I thought about seeds and the fruit of the Spirit, right? And the fruit of the Spirit is kindness, joy, self control, just to name a few. And I thought about how those are gifts from God. If we just are present enough with ourselves, right? And aware enough within ourselves, conscious enough to understand and know who God is. It says, be still and know that I am God. And just being present with yourself. How much of a gift we can have in the seeds that God gives us, that awareness gives us, when we can choose to live by those fruits. And I also thought about the story of the talents. There was a man with 1 talent, a man with 5 talents, and a man with 10. And I think of these gifts as talents because these are things that we can cultivate over time. True? I'm talking about planting seeds, but these are things that we can cultivate over time. So these are talents that this joy that we have, the self-control that we have when certain things trigger us, the emotional intelligence that we can operate in and lead with, right? Just in our everyday life, being present, just being. How we can share these gifts and talents with people for them to be a witness of the fruit. For them to be a witness of the fruit. I don't know if I'm doing too much or if I'm talking a little weird, but do y'all get what I'm saying? Because this is a thought that came to my head. And this is how it's congealing right now. Maybe I come back and talk a little bit more on it as I sit with it. I feel like we make living in purpose and living in our truth so much more complex than what it has to be. And I also just think about how some of us, with just the energies of this world, I spoke about the parable of the sower. That was the first thing that I talked about. Hold on, let me go to it real quick. Because there's 4 things that's mentioned in the parable of the sower, right? And it talks about how, hold on. It says, okay, so where seeds land on different types of soil, symbolizing different responses to the word of God. And so it makes me think about how some mindness, right? I'm talking about like consciousness, awareness, how this is my thing, because my thing is the garden. Lack of cultivation. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let me start over. The gardener owes the garden nothing, but lack of cultivation causes the gardener to starve, right? And it's like, if we understood the food that we can get from God every day. I'm also thinking about what's coming to me is Matthew, when when Jesus was led into the wilderness, and how he was, the first test, he was asked to turn stone into food, and he said, you cannot live off bread alone. There has to be a constant flow of words from God to live off of. There has to be a constant flow of awareness. There has to be a constant flow of presentness. There just has to be a constant. It has to be consistent. It's a discipline, right? It's a discipline. So yeah, I feel like that's been very important, because the gardener owes the garden nothing, because God is going to give us the mind. He's going to give us the tools to operate and use logic the way that we got to do, right? We don't, he said, you don't owe me anything to be present, but lack of cultivation will cause you to starve. Because what fruit are you living by? What fruit are you eating? What word are you going by? When I say the parable of the sower, it was, again, 4 different things that was talked about in that specific verse. Let me see. Parable of the sower. 4 soils. There we go. The hard path, unreceptive. Rocky ground, shallow and temporary. Thorny soil, hindered by worldly concerns. And good soil, fruitful through perseverance. I don't know why that came to my mind. But these words have been things that have been given to me over time. Things that just have been brought to my attention over time. And I really never thought about putting it together like that. I really never thought about it like that before, when it comes to the fruit of the Spirit and the reason that we must persevere, and why it's a life's work, right? And why we must rest, because just the understanding of the mechanisms of what has created us, the duality of everything, the reason that we have to persevere, the reason that we have choice and free will. You get what I'm saying? All right, that's what I got for y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it that long, but yes, that's what I got. I love y'all. Bye.